very little from the front because the car tips, and so the right front wheel would have been off the ground and not helping. So a big fright for Berger. You saw the way he looked at the car afterwards. He was walking around the front, actually, looking to see what had broken, if anything. And he was, in fact, barking up the wrong tree, because if he just looked at the left rear tyre, he would have known that that was the problem. So Mansell left to chase the McLarens on his own, and let's see now if, without Berger in front of him, he can up his pace a little bit. I think he probably will do, but will he be able to up it enough to seriously challenge the McLarens?
Now, Prost made some sort of a signal as he went past his pit. Couldn't see what it was, but there is a lot of activity down in the McLaren pit. I can see the mechanics bringing out the tyres in their warmers and putting them on the pit lane. And Senna now, exactly the same distance in front, and still Mansell third, Pirot fourth, Patrese fifth, and Piquet sixth.
And I would think Prost will be coming in on the next lap. Oh no, Prost in now. They've got the warmers off the tyres. The McLaren team are ready. And if Prost can make a really good stop, he will then, hopefully, what he'll be trying to do is make good progress now on fresh tyres, and then so that when Senna stops, Senna comes out behind him, and although Senna will be on the fresher rubber, the onus will then be on getting Senna having to get past Prost. And a very quick stop. No, and there's a drama with one of the rear wheels, and Prost in big trouble there. Another disastrous pit stop for Alain Prost, and that will have ruined his plans.
Yes, 18 seconds, where we would have expected something like 8 seconds. 18 seconds, 10 seconds he's lost there. Very bad luck indeed. The planning was good, the execution was poor.
And there is Mansell in for tyres.
Yes, so now let's see how long this one takes. 18 seconds for Alain Prost. This could give Nigel Mansell the chance to consolidate his second position. All four wheels and tyres on, but he's held. There you see the problem. It was a 6.9 second stop, and he's had to go out again, so I would estimate that that probably was about 11 seconds altogether. He sprints out of the pits, and as Nigel Mansell exits the pits, they're all coming in now. Martin Brundle has been in. There is Alain Prost in the background, and into the pits now comes Riccardo Patrese.
And Prost has got a problem he doesn't need. He's stuck behind Pirot's Benetton. And now is Mansell following through, so Mansell is behind Prost on the road, not by a lot, and Prost really needs to get past that Benetton to take full advantage of his new rubber.
There is the race leader, Ayrton Senna. Now, is he coming in this time?
Pirot's in second place, Murray. He's ahead of Prost on the road. Mansell, remember, has stopped, and Senna comes in this time. So we may yet emerge, if Prost hasn't passed Pirot, we may yet emerge with Emmanuel Pirot in the lead for the time being, until such time as he makes his tyre stop.
Stopwatch running. Now, they'll get this one right, surely.
And Prost now coming round, but Senna and they're holding, and Senna's got a problem with the stop. Prost is in the stadium, and it's going to be a very close run thing. Prost coming round the double right-hander onto the pit straight, and in fact, Prost will now make it, I would think, ahead of Senna, but Senna is going to be very close. Prost overtakes Senna now.
In the pit lane, Alain Prost on the track, Senna in the pit lane, and there is the Brazilian. And for the first time, now on lap 20, Alain Prost leads the German Grand Prix with Emanuele Pirot, who was second for a while, in the pits for his pit stop, his tyre stop. Well, the positions are reversed at the front, and whilst Prost could not get past Senna, it's going to be just as difficult for Senna to get past Prost.
And I see across the track a spinner there. It was one of the Tyrrells. There's a big cloud of dust on the second corner of the stadium. Was it a Lazy or was it Palmer?
It must have been a Lazy, because with Palmer's come out of the race. Piquet's into the pits now. You can see Jean Alesi there calling for a start. It's illegal, of course, if he's push-started. And meantime, Nelson Piquet from 5th position has been into the pits and exited them. There you see the Tyrrell spinning off, tyres smoking. That's Jean Alesi at the wheel. And Patrese in 7th position, and fire. That's the Lola. My goodness, that is Philippe Alliot exiting his Lola Lamborghini, but the fire marshals are right on top of the action, and they've got the right sort of equipment to get the fire out, which they have done.
Well, I think that explains it. Looks like an oil leak. I would think that's oil burning on the car, so that would explain the spin, and that certainly, one can't say is the driver's fault, I think, and that also explains why the car had spun and yet was undamaged. I think there was oil coming out onto the rear tyres, the hot exhaust probably ignited it, and so quite a lot of drama about relatively minor problems. And all appears to be not completely well with Nigel Mansell, who's now lapping a lot slower than he was before his pit stop. He's losing some 3 or 4, or certainly 3 seconds a lap to the two McLarens, and the gap has shot out from just under 8 seconds after the pit stops to, it's doubled to over 16 seconds. So Mansell in some sort of trouble. We hope it's not serious, because I'm sure at this rate he could still probably fend off or make a good shot of holding third place.
Race order is still Prost, Senna, Mansell, first, second, third. Pirot is fourth, and Patrese is fifth. Gugelmin is sixth, and Piquet is seventh.
And the edge has definitely gone off Nigel Mansell's pace to the tune, really, of more than 2 seconds a lap, as we have another new fastest lap of the race by Alain Prost, who has stretched his lead now over Ayrton Senna to nearly 5 seconds, 4.8 seconds to be exact. And that's the furthest apart the McLarens have been from each other at any stage during this race, apart from during the pit stop exchange. And in the meantime, Mansell's problems are pushing him back as Pirot goes off the track. Now, Pirot has clearly hit something. The rear wing is missing. There's damage to the car. Hopefully we will get an action replay. Yes, we do. So Pirot entering the stadium. Oh, and he got it all wrong on the curb there, and that's a terrible fundamental mistake. And that was a real beginner's error by Pirot, because he just put a wheel on the curb when he had no need to. He went wide on turning into the corner. Well, let's hope that that was only a minor bit.
And there goes Mauricio Gugelmin into the pits, and that means that Derek Warwick in the Arrows moves up into the points. And it's Prost leading Senna by 3.7 seconds at the end of the previous lap. Senna is now lapping 1 second, or was, faster than Alain Prost. So there is Ayrton Senna. Now, Prost is exiting the stadium as I talk to you. Senna comes up to the last right-hander. Prost goes over the line now, and the gap between him and Ayrton Senna is 3.7 seconds, but Senna is still lapping faster than Prost. He's done 2 successive laps faster than the Frenchman.
And so the two McLaren drivers fighting it out with some 12, 13 laps to go. So it looks like a fight all the way down to the finish line between the two McLarens.
And there's some good news from the Benetton pit. We've just heard that Emanuele Pirot is perfectly all right, except that he has bruised legs. That's good.
And Nigel Mansell, with all this excitement up front, we've rather forgotten him, but he is dropping back steadily. As we said, he's got a problem with his car. I would suspect he's missing a gear or something like that, because the lap time's only a couple of seconds away from what he would normally be doing. But with the threat of Pirot removed, he's in a pretty comfortable third place on his own. So Mansell a long way back, but quite comfortable. As long as he can maintain existing pace, he should get third place.
2.3 seconds between Prost leading now on lap 38 out of 45, and Ayrton Senna with another fastest lap, 1 minute 45.9, and that is only 0.2 of a second outside Nigel Mansell's Williams Honda turbocharged lap record. And Senna is closing all the time, but as I have said many times, catching them is one thing, getting past is another, and when they're both after victory, it could be a really sensational closing. Nakajima spun off from 7th position. Prost has been complaining in the recent past about not having as good a Honda engine as Senna, but I think that problem's been overcome and is down to sheer driving now.
But on the previous lap, I thought I heard a misfire on Prost's engine. I thought it didn't pick up speed. Certainly, Prost is not lapping as quickly as he was 5 laps ago on a clear track.
But Prost, with the difficulty that Senna will have to get past him because of this buffeting that James has been explaining, is on target for his 39th victory at the moment.
And that was the new fastest lap of the race for Alain Prost. Just 0.05 of a second than Ayrton Senna, and Senna, in fact, Senna bettered it immediately behind him. So the fastest lap by Prost, and then just 1 second later, Senna comes up and improves it by 0.05. So these two locked in absolutely flat-out 11/10 combat. Prost holding on, it would appear, at the moment. 2.5 laps to go in the German Grand Prix, and this is the most spectacular battle, most exciting battle that we've seen ever as yet between these two McLaren drivers. This is a real showdown. It's for the championship as well for Prost. Slow car there, all